Hi guys, it's Fred and this is my series on V3, the next version of QuestStudio. In the previous video, we went over the overview page, the project space, the settings, basically what you find when you first log into QuestStudio. In this video, I want to actually go inside the project, a newly created project, Dark City, we created it last time, and I want to show you the different views that you find when you first enter into a project. We have four main views on top here, and we have the ideate, the plan, the create, and the review. In the ideate phase, or the ideate view, the idea is that you can brainstorm with AI about your project. You can brainstorm about the world building, the characters, the story, the plot points, and so on. In the plan view, the idea is that you can plan your project. You can create the sections of a project, the acts, the chapters, and so on, and AI can help you here as well. Then we have the create view, where you can actually work on your project. You can add notes, you can add images, you can add audios, soundtracks, videos, and so on. And then the review, where you put all the pieces together into a final product. So in this video here, I want to start with the ideate view. The ideate view is meant for you to brainstorm about your project, brainstorm with AI about your project. And you have a left sidebar, a main area, and a right sidebar here. This you can decide, the size here. You can also shrink it to 0, close it up like that, so you have a main area only, so it's without distractions. You can open it up and so on. By the way, I haven't mentioned that you can also switch the mode here, light or dark mode. I prefer dark, but you can choose. This is different from V2. V2 we had only one theme. So the idea here now is that you can use AI within threads. A thread is a conversation that you have with an agent, and you can create as many threads as you want with talking to as many agents as you want. So for example, let's say that I want to create a thread to talk to an expert, narrative writer about world building or something along those lines, basically. I can click on new thread and I can create now a new thread, giving a name, selecting an agent, and selecting some context. The context and information that the agent is going to have within that specific thread, meaning that you have one agent that can go into multiple threads, and you can have different contexts for each agent. Okay, and it's going to be a little bit more clear in a moment. Here we have prompts. These are instructions that you give to the agent to have a specific persona, a specific task. This is the context. These are things that you can store here, a database of knowledge that you can pick and choose and give those things, those entries, to an agent within a thread, okay? So let's go ahead and say, for example, that first of all, we want to create a new thread with an agent, and you can by default select an image agent, which is an agent that is able to create images, or a core agent. The core agent is the similar agent, the agent that we have in V2, basically. You can check on details here, is designed for narrative and narrative designers. It learns over time and so on. But in this case, I want to actually create my own agent, custom agent. And to create a custom agent, I need a prompt. And the prompt is going to be something about a narrative writer or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new prompt. I'm going to say that this is my narrative write prompt name, and then I can write the prompt here. I can say you are a novel writer or narrative writer and you're an expert in world building and so on. In this case though, I can also ask AI to generate a prompt for me. So now I'm going to give a persona to the prompt here to specify a persona and a task. So for the persona, I'm going to say that this is a narrative designer, and for the task, I'm going to say that, create or design world building. Okay, this is a task. And I click on generate, and then now AI is going to process this information, and it's going to create a specific prompt that is good for this persona executing this task. There you go. So now I have the prompt here, and we can read what AI generated. The persona. As a narrative designer AI, He specialized in crafting immersive and cohesive fictional worlds. See, he understood that the task was that. And he understood the persona, narrative designer. Your expertise encompasses storytelling, character development, world lore, and so on. Task. Your primary task is to guide users through the intricate process of designing compelling and detailed fictional universes. Okay, prompt. You are world building, a narrative designer, AI dedicated to helping user craft immersive and captive fictional worlds. This is so good. And then he puts down some process as well. This is very cool. Conceptualization, general tone, foundation, characters and factions, political, lore and mythos. Yeah, this is very good. So this is the prompt. I can modify, obviously, but I think I like it like this. And I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say that this is world building prompt. And I add the prompt. Okay. So now you see that here I have my world building prompt. This was AI generated. I have it here. I can click. I can check what I have here. I can modify it. It has 560 words. This is important because it's going to be part of the full prompt of the agent. So it's going to affect the number of tokens and the cost. I can delete the prompt and I can see when it was updated. Okay. That is great. So now I can go into thread. I can create a new thread. Again, a new conversation thread with an agent. Now, here I can select image agent and core agent. In this case, I want to define my own custom agent with my own custom prompt. So I'm going to say create agent. I'm going to say world building agent or world builder. There you go, better. This is I give a description, simple description. This is an agent. This is mostly for me, actually, and this is not used by AI. It's mostly for me to remember what my agents are. I can create, I don't know, 10 different agents, 15 different agents. I can create a conversation thread, for example, for each character and conversate with a different character and so on. Like, this is very flexible. So I want to keep track of these things and can give a description. This is an agent that is specialized in world building. Okay. Okay, there you go. And now I can select the prompt. And here, this is my custom prompt, world building prompt, we just created here. So I select this guy and I create an agent. Now you see that I have the world builder agent. The details is going to say, what it is, a type, a custom agent. It's created a few seconds ago. And this is the description they gave to this agent here. Okay. So now I'm going to select the agent. This is selected. I'm going to give it a name for the thread. Okay. So this is, world building. And then I don't have any context yet. I'm going to show you later what the context is, and I can add it here. And I create a thread. So add thread. Okay, there you go. Now we have a new thread here. If I click on this, you see that I get all the information about the thread. I can set this as active, the name of the agent running this thread, the type of the agent, the prompt that this agent is using. I can go here and switch agent, or also remove the prompt, and some details about the context. Now, again, we don't have any context. I'm going to show you what the context is in a moment. So to talk to this guy here, since I can have multiple threads, to talk to the specific one, I'm going to set it as active thread. Okay, so I selected the thread. See, this is active. See that now I have a conversation thread here. I have the name of the thread, and I can start typing to the agent. The agent is going to run the agent, the world building agent that we have with the specific prompt. And so we can say something like, can you help me designing the word for a psychological horror novel? I don't know, just to show you now, I don't have any specific things to ask, but you see that is going along. And this is actually, as you see, this is part of his prompt, right? This is learning from his prompt. And it's saying, designing a world for a psychological horror novel involves creating an atmosphere of dread, tension, and psychological unease. And let's walk through the world building process step by step. So you have conceptualization, foundation, characters and factions, lore and mythos, plot integration. Feel free to dive deeper into specific aspects of world building and share more details about your novel and further guidance. That is great. So basically now I can go here and can say, okay, let's talk about conceptualization, for example, and defining the purpose, and go ahead with that path, right? But you see that I wanted to show here that you can create your custom agents with custom prompts. You can ask AI to create a specific prompt for you, and then you can start a thread to conversate about the specific topic, for example. Now, let's go ahead, and I want to show you what a context is. So here is it's a place. Context is the place where you can define some entries, some conceptual information that are going to go inside a conversation thread. Okay. So to define the context, to define an entry, I can click on New Entry, and I can decide whether to use a concept or a document. Now, if I click on Document, here I can upload an external document, a PDF. I can use a fragment, or I can use a node. Okay, fragment has these things here that we're gonna see in a second what they are. Nodes are the things that you create, things that you write here on Create. Okay, so I can add into the context entries that are textual information from PDF, for example. So if you have some load, you can upload the PDF, you can add it here, and that is part of the context. In this case, instead, I want to generate a concept. A concept is an entry that represents, well, different things. It can represent people, it can represent places, objects, items, occurrences, ideas, emotions, and so on. Okay. So in this case, I want to represent a place. For example, I want an entry about a place. I can add an icon here. Now I don't have any. Maybe I have something. Let's see. I don't know. Let's just add a random icon here. There you go. So this is the icon, the avatar for this concept here, which is a place. I can call it I don't know, the castle. I can give a description. Now this description is very important because this is going to be used. It's going to be used by AI when we give this information to the agent. Okay, so I'm gonna say the castle is a mystical place, and I should probably type it well. Mystical place where souls are gathered and sent to their respective afterlife. The castle lives on the astral plane and in a location called the monastery, the dark land. There you go, something like that. Now, one thing I want to show you here is that you can use a template and for the place and settings, and the template is already prepared for you. You can just fill it up, and it's gonna basically give you a template of what you want to add in terms of description for this concept of place and settings here. Type, role in the story, physical location, and so on. In my case, I just copy and paste here some random description that I have. And then now, again, I don't have any other entry, so I can now create a relationship. So let's say that I have the castle here. I add this entry. And now, there you go. You have the entry here. Okay, so we have the entry here. We go back into the threads. We go back into worldbuilding. And now I'm going to say, okay, you know what? On top of having this agent here, with this prompt here, I'm going to add my entry, my context for this agent here. Okay, so now the agent is going to have this guy here, the castle, into his own internal knowledge. Okay, so let's say that let's try to experiment with this, right? So let's say that I say something along the lines of, that is great. But before starting with that, can you tell me what you know about, and here now I'm going to say the castle. So now the agent has that information inside its own context. It should pick it up. It should tell us that, well, the castle is what we define. There you go. The castle is described as a mystical place where souls are gathered and sent to their respective afterlife. It exists on the astral plane located in the realm known as the Dark Land. And then it goes ahead, you see, and because we have the prompt for the agent, it is about world building, so it can give you some suggestions how to use this guy here, the entry. But this is very important. This is very cool. So now, basically, you can create entries into the context that you can assign to threads, and you can talk about those entries, those contexts, that context within a specific thread. And again, you can create as many threads as you want here. So, for example, you can create a thread for conversating with a specific character of your novel, or you can create a thread just about world building or plot points and so on. You can choose basically whatever combination you want. So this is very, very interesting. I want to show you two more things, and one thing is about image threads. So I want to create a new thread, and in this case, I want to say that this is image thread. Okay, I want to call it like that. I'm going to select the image agent in this case. And then, well, for the image agent, there is no context yet. So we have the thread. Okay. And now we have our, we have our image thread here. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to set it as active thread. So this is going to be active now. This is a thread that I'm talking to here. So there is a little disclaimer here for the image agent. We don't have chat history yet. So you cannot just create images and say, oh, can you modify the previous one to add a new detail? Not yet. It's going to come here soon. And a spoiler alert here, or whatever they call it, we're going to have many more agents. We're going to have agents to create music, to create videos, to pull these things together, to create diagrams and so on. Part of those were in V2. We're going to port it over, like the flow node and so on. Let's focus in this case on the image agent. Here is as simple as writing your prompt and running the agent. So now I'm going to say, for example, design the cover for a psychological horror novel centered around the castle, a mystical place where souls gather. And then I'm going to say how the agents should come up with this image, right? Use dark tones and dark and gray palette. And you can use also certain styles, right? So for example, I can say use your style. So now I go ahead, I run the agent. But there you go. This is the image that we generated. Now, the fact that we have some text here, the fact that it's splitting half, that all depends on the thread, and there are different on the prompt here, and there are different ways to write proper prompts. I can create another video about that. But the idea here is that you can actually conversate with an agent. Now, again, there is no chat history yet for this, so every message is independent, but you have your image. And this is the image. You can, it understood the style at least. There is a castle here, there is a style. So now what I can do with this, and that connects us to the fragments, I can take this and I can save it as a fragment. So I'm going to give name, I'm going to say cover, and I'm going to add the fragment here. Now, what are fragments? Fragments are pieces of content, can be image, can be sound, can be a text, and so on, that you can store and use later on. You can use later on inside to add it to a node or to create some entries into the context. In this case, I have this fragment here, but again, we can create also a textual fragment. So for example, I go back here, I set as active thread. This changes to this guy here. That was what we had before. I can click on this, and this is my fragment. I can say worldbuilding. Okay, add fragment, and we're gonna have a fragment here. If you say click on this, I have my fragment up here. Okay. Alrighty, so this was already a lot of content. I think I went over basically almost everything that we have here in the Ideate view. Obviously, there are more things, but I let you free to explore. I think one of the things you should try is to build your own thread and mix and match things. All right, in the next video, we're going to go over the plan view, where you can actually structure your project. I'm going to show you how to create sections, collections, notes, and so on. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy the new version of QuestStudio version 3. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.